it can be a lot of work.
Yeah, I remember being on that back in college when, the only job I could get was a place that would convene my schedule from like 4 p.m. to like 10 p.m. every day.
Mm-hmm.
The good old days.
Okay. So let's start off with introductions.
Sure.
Uh, I'm Matt Kale, Double Barrel Theater, and you are.
I'm Justin Noll. I'm one of the founders of Sukeban, and I am currently acting as a production manager.
Okay. So, all right. This is a little awkward, like without the webcam. So I'm just like talking to God right now.
Yeah, that works. I mean, it's a bit flattering, but I appreciate it.
Well, I think I own like 5 or 6 of your shirts. So like that, just to like like hell, I have like a couple of the stickers right here from the recent. Let's see, it's
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah. The new one with Aki.
Okay, so my first question is, what exactly is Sukeban for those that don't know?
All right, so Sukeban, formerly Sukeban NYC. I just say Sukeban because I say the name so much that it loses
Mm-hmm.
meaning. So as fast as you can say it to get to the point of the actual sentence. It's a brand focused around working with illustrators to create strong, positive, badass portrayals of women on clothing. And our niche is the anime T-shirt con brand, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't like being called a con brand or calling myself one, but that's definitely the target market because that's the consumer block that vibes with artwork on clothing.
Well, yeah, because some of the artists that I could think of off the top of my head, Peach Momoko,
Yep.
uh, Nicholas DePravery.
Oh yeah,
I,
Nicholas Draper Ivy. Yeah.
yeah, well, I knew I was mispronouncing the name, so like, forgive
Don't
my
feel bad.
butchering
I
on
used
that
to
one.
throw a bunch of French on it back in the day before I actually met him. So
And there's a couple I'm forgetting, but damn it, I know them too. Like the best was last year, or not? Yeah, it was definitely last year. New York Comic Con. I'm walking around and I actually see one of the artists that you guys have worked with on a shirt, and my first thought was like, where do I know that from? I was
oh
just
really?
looking at, I, and I wish I could remember the name off the top of my head, but uh, uh, it was one of the handful of artists that you've worked with, and I want to say early on too. But there's a couple of them that like have been to the conventions. But so you guys started, like, would you say you started out at conventions or did you start out online?
No, no. Our launch was entirely online. So we began mid 2017, launched in on August 15th, and we were just doing the online shop. We had a few friends, Sonic Boombox, shout out to them, who gave us some space at their table. So I think it was 2017 was the hurricane in that hit Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And so they let us sell some of our merch there at Comic Con, and we donated like a decent chunk of the few sales that we got to the hurricane effort, as well as a little bit more money on our end just to round out the dollar value. And we really didn't have our first show until I think it was C2E2 in 2018 in Chicago.
Okay. Well, I really want to go to that one eventually. Like I'm thinking about going next year. But I don't know. Speaking of Sonic Boombox, uh, I want to say that's how I found out about you guys because I would go to the after parties at Sonic Boombox, and because of that, I would follow them on Instagram and whatnot. And I want to say they gave you guys a shout out. And for me, if it's like a New Jersey local, like something I would be interested in, like if you put local on top of it, I'm extra like invested. So
I really appreciate that. And it's funny that you mention the New Jersey local thing because the name, the NYC at the end of the name was it's actually easier to rep New York than it is to rep New Jersey. It's like
Hmm.
a lot of the NJ like centric brands are like I can't even remember what they're called, but like my brother had a hoodie from these guys and they were like, their whole thing was NJ natives. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have enough like street cred around here amongst my friends to like start saying, yeah, I'm from NJ and like not have people ridicule me. So I
Hmm.
was like, all right, we work in New
Hmm.
York. Some of the team lives in New York. Like we formed in New York. We'll call ourselves Sukeban NYC.
Well, NYC is like it sounds cooler than NJ for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
totally.
Like that extra syllable just lends itself to cooler. But
Yeah, it's
I,
6 syllables. It's symmetrical.
hmm yeah, but I will say this though, New Jersey historically, uh, now whether or not you like what I'm about to say is like John Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen, Walt Whitman. Um, I'm going to throw, damn it, that football coach, Vince Lombardi. I'll throw
Mhm.
Vince Lombardi in there. Like New Jersey has like a nice history of uh, like like music and like popular figures.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah.
New York, like there was like one high school class that had like 20 top singers in it that had like J Lo and Method Man and uh, like Buster Rhymes. I think they like in one class there had to have been like 10 future stars in it, and that's all over the place in New York.
Yeah, I mean, that was the new school though, wasn't it? Like that wasn't that where Busta Rhymes got the name Leaders of the New School for his group?
Hmm. It, I always make the analogy that New York and New Jersey are twin sisters. However, they're not identical twin sisters. Like the the sexy face twin is New York, and the uh like the more not as hot, but like the girl you married not sleep with. Well, anyway, we have pork roll, so or Taylor ham, depending on
Uh,
what
yeah, depending on how
how.
south you are.
Yeah, I'm trying. I still can't figure out like what the cutoff is. I have to do a map of this one day.
I
Uh,
don't know, man. I mean, like my fear was always like living as somebody living, 14 miles from the city. Like growing up, my view outside of my house was always like the New York City skyline. I always thought that anything west of here was the Wild West, and anything south of me was the Deep South. So like yeah, it was like a crazy culture shock for me because in 2014 I was interning in DC, and I was like I'd never been at a point in my life where for an extended period of time I couldn't see New York City. So I was kind of like freaked out. I was like, what the hell is this? Where is there supposed to be society out here? It was crazy. 21-year-old me was like losing his marbles over it.
well, New York has that thing where like it tricks people into thinking that there's no other cities,
Yeah.
and the thing about growing up in New Jersey is that you really appreciate New York because like it's an hour away from uh, like like it's a place that like so many people will spend their entire lives wishing they could go, and it's like I can drive there at any time I want to. So like there's that level of appreciation that you kind of have to have.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like the whole world is right there for you.
And the sad part is like you can like there are uh, like there's like this snootiness about New York where you live what like 2 minutes away. Like if you wanted to swim there, you could.
I mean, yeah, I was about like 14 miles away, but yeah, basically, it was a
Okay,
bus ride.
okay,
$6
bus
gets
ride.
you into the city.
Yep. So uh, they'll never consider you a New Yorker though.
No, no,
Like
absolutely
you
not.
could be other side of the river. Like you could go to school with all the kids, eat all the food. You're not a New Yorker. Like there's that binary thing that New Yorkers somehow have. So
Yeah, they can have it. Like I don't have to live there. I get to enjoy it. I get to see it as this place that I like. You know what I mean? There's no downside for me.
hmm all right. So okay. how do you start a clothing brand? Just out of curiosity, because like it's not one of those things you hear about like everybody going out there and doing. Like occasionally someone thinks they can be a rapper, but like some people look at a T-shirt on the wall and say, "Oh, that looks cool," but they never think they could do it. What made you guys like? Because I think you guys start with jackets and hats, or did you guys start with T-shirts?
No, no, it was t-shirts. So, the way we started was my partner was the one who really came up with the idea of the brand. She was, this is Marjone Osden. She goes by MJ Darling, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, she was the one who had this vision for, I think at first it was a boutique. That was like the goal. It was like have our spot, have like your own clothing, like really create a small brand. And she was planning this, and we worked together at the time. And she's the one who got me out of my awful retail job. Shout out to Barnes and Noble. Oh Jesus, sorry, but that was the alarm to remember to text you back about this. Um, yeah, so she was the one who got me out of my retail job and got me into the fashion industry as the person doing their data entry. And I figured I owed her a favor, so I was like, all right, you come up with the ideas. I can do the only skill that I have right now, which is I can help you budget and plan this. Um,
That's actually a very valuable skill. Like
I
if you do your
appreciate you saying that because you never think it is really. It's like not until you're, 3 years deep doing this that you realize, oh, not many people actually do this. I figured it was common sense, You just
mm-hmm.
you make a plan, you have to stick to it. You don't have any other sources of money, so that's that.
Well, like, because I work around cars a lot, I could honestly say the most underappreciated but like often needed part of the car is the brakes. Like, no one talks about how fast a car can stop, but when you're, I don't know, did you get into performance cars at all?
No, actually, I have like very little mechanical knowledge. That's all my brother's thing. He knows everything about every car that ever existed, but I'm tangentially aware of it, is the best way to put it.
Okay, well, in business, you need someone like because if you need to make a turn, uh, like you can't take it at full speed, so you have to like I don't know, hit the brakes, go at it the right way, hit the right angle because uh, it's like running a business is different than having a hobby. Like you have to make money, you have to be wise, and you have to because like I deal with it with making comics. Like I could go into debt at any given moment and just have like the greatest artist draw what I want them to draw, and then I could print up 1,000 copies of it and try and sell it. But I really, really don't want to have to dig myself out uh, with like something along that lines. So like having the good business sense and just like knowing the numbers and like doesn't seem like it's an important job, but it's a very very important job.
Well, yeah, it's a really good point that you bring up there. It's like, you could go into debt at any point in time starting
Hmm.
up a project because most people that start something up, they don't often have like the mentorship of somebody who's done it before and knows the whole process. It's like we were effectively, just kids, and I'm saying kids, but I was like 20, what was I, like 25 at the time, 26, 24 at the time. So, like, but we had no idea what we were entirely doing. So I was just like, all right, I know how much money I make every paycheck. I know how much money I can throw at this if all hell breaks loose. Let's see what we can come up with over the course of a few months and try and get it together. And our problem was we were trying to start off huge from the beginning. We were asking the factory that the clothing company we worked with for advice, and everything was going great. They were giving us, decent unit prices up until they were telling us what the cost, like what the final cost was. They're like, oh, you need to order, you know, 1,000 pieces per screen print color that you want on this. So our first artwork was 8 colors, and they were like, yeah, so you're gonna need to order 8,000 shirts at about $6 a piece. So, that was $48,000. No big deal, right? And we're just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we got like two, bruh. And yeah, so we had to immediately shift to domestic printing, which was actually really great because it's something I always wanted to do. So you might have gleaned this from my social media posts over the last year because of all the political unrest and everything. But my background is actually politics primarily, and I have always been a huge proponent of made in America whenever possible.
Well, the you pay more, I would imagine, like because like certain things happen or whatever. There are certain countries that I don't know. Maybe you can get someone that's going to make your shirts for $1 or say $5 less, but
Yeah.
it's but like you run into a problem though because like are you familiar with Equilibrium at all?
Yeah, a little bit actually.
For the well, they've been open about because they're fact the Philippines with COVID and everything. It's been very problematic for them. Uh, I think they launched a GoFundMe because between their factory in the Philippines having issues and not having any conventions, which by the way, I want to say, like, I don't want to say it's their primary source because they have their website, but I can only imagine like the amount of uh, headaches they've had this year. So,
Yeah,
like,
no, it's crazy, man. It was we've moved a lot of our complex manufacturing. So like those bags that we revealed on back in August and stuff, those all happen at a small, family-owned factory in Hong Kong, because they're the only people equipped to, make this kind of, I wouldn't say niche, but like small order production runs that
mm-hmm.
we need because we're still an extremely small business, and we were just totally shut down from the months of like February to May or so.
Yeah.
The under order of the Chinese government, they shut down for about 6 weeks. Then they came back and they were only able to do production planning for a while. They couldn't actually manufacture anything. By the time they started manufacturing stuff, it was maybe mid-March, and by the time those reflective jackets that we had came out, they shipped them out, but their shipping infrastructure was so overloaded that things just got lost. I think it took me an extra 5 weeks to get those jackets when usually they arrive in 4 days.
Man, you didn't have to find them in some shipping container in Newark, did you?
Oh, no, 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 no! I do everything. I try to avoid that as best I can. But I did have to navigate the murky waters of UPS, and it's not fun. Basically, they're like, "Yeah, we're really busy. We can't look for your package." I was like, "But you have it. You sent it to the wrong place." They're like, "We're sorry. We're really busy. Check with us in a month."
Well, good for you, man. You did find them, right?
Yeah, no, no, everything came in. I just really appreciated everybody's patience waiting for these. It was like this was the worst possible storm. There was miscommunication with the sizing because the production team was at a separate facility from where my sales contact was, and like they were only able to work at a certain capacity, so there wasn't anybody double checking measurements. So these jackets were supposed to be made to American sizes, not Asian sizes. So it was like, I ordered an extra large because I wanted it to be baggy on me, and I couldn't even get it across my arms. I was like, oh Lord. So it was like I think I had to wear like a 3X or something, and it's still kind of tight around me. It's like the extra large that I bought was smaller than like a medium shirt that I had.
Can I just say, by the way, good for you guys on like the because this hoodie right here is probably one of the most comfortable ones I own, like in quality wise. Like there's some online shops I will go to, I'll get something and be like, okay, did they mean a European extra large, or or did it shrink at a certain, like, in shipping? Because like there's because so there's nothing worse than like I put on a nice shirt and then like my shoulders are getting choked by the seam.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I appreciate you guys' like choice in like your product. So
Well, thank you. Those were actually a really fun one. It was our first time, that was our first international manufacturing project, and we had found a small family-owned factory in Pakistan, actually, where a lot of manufacturing is moving to. And they did a pretty good job on these, but the problem was their quality control was really whack. So it was like I think I ordered 50 of these jackets or 50 of these hoodies or something, and I think like maybe 13 or 14 of them were just unusable. The embroidery was just like totally off center. The print wasn't done right. There were so many that I had to damage out, and these guys just weren't accountable. So like they wouldn't give me my money back. They're like, "Oh, we'll give you a discount." I was like, I don't want to work with you anymore, though." Yeah, so I dropped them, and then that's where I started, looking again, and that's when I started working with, our friends in Hong Kong that help us out.
okay, all right. So I don't want to get into the future question, but like how do you guys see yourselves like a year from now and 5 years from now?
Well, this was a lot easier to answer before COVID, which I'm sure everybody can say.
Okay,
The
best case scenario then.
Yeah, so the real goal here is, I'm always taking the long-term approach to this. So my job at the end of the day when I make something is just make sure that the worst case scenario, we make exactly the amount that we spent on it in terms of, art, production, shipping materials and everything. And we have enough money to do the next one without, losing money. So it's like the end goal really is to become self-sufficient as quickly as possible, because once I can do that, then, I don't the growth happens over time. That's natural. The more people I work with, the more, social media exposure, and the more you play the algorithm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything, the sales are there, but it's really just now staying afloat, keeping it fresh. So the first step is make sure that I no longer need to worry about putting my own money into this. And then the next step is, start expanding, like go to, see if I can sell my stuff in Harajuku, see if I can sell my stuff at like Hot Topic or something like that. Like I just saw these guys that I know, Zombie Makeout Club, they had one of their lines for sale at Hot Topic back in August, which was crazy because, I'd never expected them to, be able to do that. And congrats to them. That's amazing.
Yeah, because I also like I think it was Four Eyes. Also got into Hot Topics as well.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because like I went looking, and by the way, have you been in a mall lately?
No, I try to avoid that like the plague.
Well, I'm already going all over the place, like an idiot. So it's like screw it, I'll wear a mask. I'll like bathe in alcohol. I checked out Rockaway Mall,
Hmm.
and uh, I was looking for that shirt in particular because I knew they had a Hot Topic and a Spencer's there. But uh, wow, the like that like there's something to be said for like malls that have stores that don't die
Hmm.
because it's never the ones you think of either. Uh, like that rug store, I've like Oriental Rug, I think is what it's called. Like you think like who the hell is buying rugs at a clip big enough to pay for the storefront? But nope, they're still going.
And they've been there
Meanwhile,
like 100 years, right?
yep. Uh, but like there was a couple spots that were like mainstays that just went out of business. Like trying to think which ones were, but like the offshoots of the mall. Because have you ever been to Rockaway Mall?
Yeah, like years ago. I think it was like when
Uh,
the Lego store first opened, like in 2004.
okay, so uh, there's like a strip mall that is right next to the mall as you
Hmm.
come in, and all but three of the food spots that were chains, actually. Like, one was a Cold Stone, one was a Blimpies, which I don't even know how the hell that is still there. But all the other restaurants were closed. And, like, driving around, I'm seeing, like chain restaurants go under that you wouldn't necessarily think of. Like, when was the last time you saw a Burger King or a McDonald's closed down?
Yeah, it doesn't. They don't. They're there forever.
Well, I've seen about 10 of them die, so like that's how I know this damn pandemic is freaking crazy. Like, it's killing fast food places, which you would think that they would be the first ones to survive.
Yeah.
Okay, so your goal is to be self-sufficient. All
Yeah,
right,
that's
dreams.
I'm sorry, please continue.
Okay, so that's your first big goal. Like, what's your dream scenario?
Really, I mean, it was like, it'd be dope to be able to quit our jobs first off and, live off of this. And then it's like, really, it's, my primary, what I primarily get out of this more than anything is I get to meet, artists, which I'm not an artist. My whole family's artists. They all have like the latent artistic skill needed to illustrate or do something correctly. Like my dad's a jeweler, my brother's a metal worker, my mom's an actual artist. I can write correctly
You have
and
good
operate
taste.
Excel. Oh well, thank you. Um,
No, because I have seen I don't know like what your process is for working with artists on your clothes, but just in terms of the people that I see you following on Instagram and sharing, you have good taste.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just whatever I think is cool right then and there. And I definitely have like a type, like, a Gucci Hisashi, like anything that gets those pop art elements, like, Ilya Kuvshinov, obviously. Like that stuff is the dream. It's the first thing at the front of my mind every time I think up of a, I think a design up or anything. Um, but really, at the end of the day, I will be down with literally everything. Like right now, I'm trying to figure out how to get this guy whose work reminds me of Mobius somehow into the fold of Sukeban, and I don't even know if it'll fit, but I'm like ready to just be like, all right, let me get some crazy like European comics piece in here just for the sake of doing it.
Okay, so money's no object. You have five artists to go after. Uh, what's your order of importance?
Oh man, okay, all right. I actually kind of have a plan for this. So first off, it's like let me get with Iguchi Hisashi. We met in 2019, and it was awesome. And we had plans to eventually work together, but I haven't been able to go back to Tokyo, meet with him, and hammer something out and just be like, hey man, let's put something together because it's just the last time I was in Tokyo after that was like I only was there for 5 days and I only had a really limited amount of time to do anything for myself. So definitely get him right off the bat. Then it would be like I'd love to work with Eiichiro Oda. I'm a huge One Piece fan. I don't like the anime, but like the manga is, in my opinion, the oh no, it's the anime is the opposite of animation. The manga is better animated panel by panel than the anime is frame by frame. But One Piece
Well,
is a manga. I've been reading that since I was 11 years old. I'm 27 now. It's still the greatest manga, like period.
so okay, just a little bit of a brag here on my part.
Please.
You know how like there's that meme where so many episodes of One Piece, like there's always a meme like it was like 1,000 episodes, 1,000 episodes. I can honestly say it only takes you about 3 months day job of just binging the anime to catch up to it, because I actually binged One Piece in 3 months.
Oh my god.
I can I can tell you honestly, and you start noticing like little tricks that they do. I think post time skip, like the average amount of meat on an episode is about 10 minutes, because they have 10 minutes of recap and then Then they have 10 minutes of episode, and then they have like the opening and ending of the episode. So like those 22 minutes, like in the second half of the anime, they go by so quick if you just know how to skip the recap.
Yeah, yeah. That's
But the but
it's crazy though because you could just read a chapter and one chapter might cover 3 episodes worth of content and you could read a
mhm,
chapter in like 5 minutes, which it always
mhm.
kills me because a lot of people will be like, I read One Piece, I watch One Piece subbed because it's superior. It's like, but you could read it, get a similar experience, and have been caught up 6 months ago.
Mhm. Man, I can't wait for that back from hiatus.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's oh my God. I just read like today's chapter. It's a ride. It's like one of the only series that only gets better over time, and I don't understand how Oda can continue to do this.
The rumor is that he had a plan for like you know how like some people have like a story they want to tell over their entire life. I
Hmm.
think this is just like being able to tell it and him being successful at it. The because uh like there's manga that I read that don't have like that critical or audience reception that it's like damn it I really wish this had managed because like you ever be reading something and be like man that ended it really abruptly.
Yeah, and you find out it got canceled, and
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to get it again because this person's never going to work at Jump again.
Man, there's a couple of uh, ones that like are you familiar with Kengo Yanakura at all?
No, actually, I'm not familiar. You should send me something after this so I can get familiar.
Well, it I believe it's a she, and uh, she's one of those hentai artists that actually did a manga.
Okay.
Like a, and the one that she came up with was called Fire Candy, and I was like, God damn it, this is really good. But unfortunately, I don't think it was successful at all because I think it ended like after I want to say 2 or 3 volumes. But
Oh, really?
yeah, but the only one I've ever seen successful at it was you know Oh Great at all.
No, it's not ringing a bell.
He was the manga of Tenjo Tenj.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
Like an Air Gear. Like he had uh, but I remember like him being one of those guys that like had an H series background and then he made the jump to like regular comics.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I think that is the industry pipeline there. I think, a lot of people go to art school and then, the best way to get noticed is unfortunately, or, for better or for worse, just draw a lot of fucking hentai.
It, I don't know how it works over there because every time I think I have it down, like someone comes around and says no, that's wrong. But uh, the our, man, like there must be assistants over there that would just kill anywhere else, but they're just perpetual assistants
Yeah.
because uh, like because you find out like these popular art books like like there's about a dozen or so assistants on like just like little details like one guy just does the skin tones on whatever but he's just really good at doing skin tones one person does backgrounds better but
Hmm.
the um okay so we have 2 artists down on your top 3 so before
Oh,
we
yeah,
forget
yeah.
about
So,
that.
okay, we got a Gucci Hisashi, we got Oda. I am a huge fan of Kazuki Takahashi. He's the artist for Yu-Gi-Oh! And a lot of people like, don't take it seriously because they only, think about the anime and the card game. But Yu-Gi-Oh! As a manga is actually insanely wild because I believe Takahashi, when he started, wanted to be the the next Hirohiko. He wanted to do, the next JoJo. So it's like you see in a lot of the early volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Those like very same, overly complex pop elements and just incredible line work and stuff in his manga. Like I seriously encourage you to check it out. When you get a chance because the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, I ended up rereading it like 2 years ago, is phenomenal. and his artwork only gets better. And it's like if you look up some of the cards that he did for like the anniversary releases, he did the artwork for them, and he's one of the greatest illustrators alive. Period. It's like it's stupid because he doesn't get this credit because he's behind this massive card game empire.
Well, the problem is like if you do a kids show, like even if it's not meant for kids, like let's just say that's the category people put it in, um, you are not getting that credit when it comes time for like awards or whatever. Like like to this day, like Looney Tunes is probably one of the greatest things ever made. But watch any of them now, and like uh, you will realize they will never make this again.
No, never.
Never.
No, and that was
Between
that was the Hollywood Hollywood mentality at the time was just spend money making a good product, not make sure that it's profitable per se. So animation just changed so rapidly. You had the that like dark ages of animation in the 70s where like Hanna-Barbera came out of and all they did was repurpose animation and everything looked stiff and lifeless.
yeah, but though I grew up on Boomerang though. Those cartoons were fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
they were
like
fun.
say what you will about their production values, but I think they just said, all right, we're gonna have a character, we're gonna voice it really good, and then all of a sudden you get like Yogi the Bear and then Snagglepuss and like I was watching the Wacky Racers the other night, and
Hmm.
because I found them on Amazon Prime, I was like, Jesus Christ, like like just take a million stereotypes, put it into a race, give them cars, and then watch them go.
Yeah,
But
exactly. It's like Redline for the West, 50 years ago.
well, okay. Before we move on to artist number four, I just gotta say, when you said that the guy who drew Yu-Gi-Oh was very influenced by JoJo, like I'm thinking about every Yu-Gi-Oh character, and I'm thinking about every JoJo character now, and wow, like I could see the connection.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like if you I really encourage you to read the manga. It's nuts. Even like his art book. Udon released this book called Dual Art, and a lot of it is just his illustrations that he did, like auxiliary illustrations for the cover of the manga and just promotional illustrations. And the composition and color work is just fantastic. It's some of the most intense stuff ever. It's like that's like easily one of my favorite art books.
Okay, all right. So artist number four.
Next one, this is a toss-up. It's either Bengus, but like from his MVC2 days, because the artwork from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is some of the coolest artwork, period. Like
Mhm.
it's like the best like depiction of like Cyclops from X-Men, for example. Like it's perfect.
I'm still trying to like if I was gonna do a cosplay, I would do Juggernaut from MVC two, which like I'm trying to figure that out. But I also thought about like if I was gonna get a tattoo from that game, it would probably be either him or Venom.
Mm.
Any of the Marvel characters, I would definitely pick from uh, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But oh, all right, who's the other one?
So the other person tied for this slot is Naoki Urasawa, mangaka behind 20th Century Boys and Pluto and Monster.
Mm-hmm.
20th Century Boys is one of my favorite manga, like second only to One Piece, and just I love the way he draws people. Like they feel like really human. It's not like Tite Kubo or like what's called who's the guy who did Fist of the North Star, Baronson, or even Kentaro Miura,
Oh,
where it's like the characters are like manly and big and stuff like that. It's like no, in Urasawa's stuff, it's like nah, these are just average looking people. So like you have to connect with them on an emotional level, not just the this guy looks cool level.
okay. Because I've never read any of the series, but I know who you're talking about with those. Like I keep telling myself I'm gonna read one of those one of these days.
You totally should do it. They're all trips. I mean, like Urasawa's work is just it's ridiculous. If you need a quick one, I'd say start with Pluto. It's probably his most solid. It was him reinterpreting Astro Boy's or strongest robot in the world arc that Tezuka did back in like what was it, the late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
but with his style and like a more, kind of like a more mature story theme to it, just because like that's the way he writes his stories.
I heard someone say that when he did his what was it, 20th Century Boys or Monster was first.
That's a good question. I
Well,
think
either
it
one.
might have been Monster first.
Well, I think he did a Monster in his like late early 20s.
Jesus.
Like if that's true, like mind you, I'm just throwing around an internet fact right now. Like like which I I if that is true, then I, I might as well just give up. I mean, like I'll tell a couple good stories here and there, but Jesus, like whew,
Yeah,
like
right. It's like how can us normal people ever compete?
well, not even that. Then he follows it up. Like even if he did Monster or 20th Century Boys first or second, still first and second. Like his follow up, I don't know if it was his direct follow up, but his follow up was equally, if not better, good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like Urasawa is just an absolute monster of a mangaka. Like he really can't be slept on, and I'm glad that finally his stuff is being published or republished in the States. Like, because it's crazy, when I wanted to start buying 20th Century Boys, I had to order every single volume from Barnes and Noble because they were like out of print and unpopular, and they just had back stock in a few warehouses, and that was that. Meanwhile, I go to France, and every time I've been there, there's been some sort of new omnibus edition reprinting of that book in like glorious hardcover with like, where the spines align and they make like this glorious rainbow logo, and it's beautiful. And that man gets treated like he should over there. So I'm like finally glad now that they're publishing it here again.
Tell you what, like, well, do you speak French at all, or
Yeah, actually, I am French, so.
okay? Well, you don't have the accent, I would say.
Oh, no, no, no. I totally grew up in America and everything. Like I was born in the States. My mom is from France, and she, I grew up when I grew up, she spoke French to me. So
Okay, okay. So, well, now I'm trying to remember. Was 20th Century Boys, was that Tokyo Pop, or was that one of the damn it, who's the other publisher in America? Uh,
Viz.
like Viz?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was
So
Viz.
it was Viz, but it was like their old abandoned, like I think mature imprint. It had a different logo, and it was like specifically for like the seinen manga. So it was like most of Urasawa's stuff was published under that imprint.
Okay. Yeah, because old manga, like I remember things just because like that when I went into bookstores, that's what I remember seeing. So like, and plus when Tokyo Pop folded, uh, like a lot of titles I think got lost in the shuffle.
Hmm.
But like I still remember, like I'm still looking for copies of Studio Proteus's like Appleseed
Oh
uh,
yeah.
by Shiro Masamune,
Hmm.
because like whenever I go to comic conventions, I'll always find a couple here and there.
Honestly, do yourself a favor. Look for the Dark Horse prints of them. They might be easier to find.
Oh, they're definitely easier to find, but you know what though? I'm a completionist, and an
Oh,
idiot.
okay. No, I respect that. I live for the bookshelf, so don't even think you're wrong there.
Do you want to hear my craziest one?
Go for it.
Um, I'm trying to track down all of the Marvel Akiras.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you poor soul.
I have 12. Like I only have 20 more to go.
Funny story about that actually. I have one of the color test pages that Olaf did and sent to Otimo for the Marvel release.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you're not familiar with them, they're at every con. Felix Art, like that collective.
Is it like a art dealership, art,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
is
yeah.
it a
So
art group?
no, no, no. So Felix himself, like the guy Felix, I don't even remember his last name. He just owns this store, and he just represents a lot of artists, and they always have like a huge block at conventions. And it's like pretty much anybody up and coming, he manages to get in touch with them and start selling their stuff. So like, I'm not sure if you've been following, like DC's new Constantine series, but Matias Bagara from I believe he's from Chile or maybe he's from Argentina. I feel bad. I never remember. But like his stuff is blowing up, and now like Felix is the one selling all of his works and his commissions and stuff like that.
I feel like I've had to have passed by who you're talking about, but like I just never noticed.
Mhm.
But but I don't know. Like one of the things I used to do at conventions was I would do pro tips, which would be these 1 minute interviews with creators, like advice for people breaking into comics, like things that they know now that they wish they could impart onto their younger selves.
Oh, that's really cool.
But wow, like that this grew out of that because without conventions this year, I was like, I'm either gonna sit on my ass or I'm going to buck up and like just ask people, can you do my podcast? So thank you for doing this, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, my pleasure, man. I mean, it's like, it's really good because I think, I'm not gonna like, you know, admonish anybody for just not being productive during pandemic. It's like it's a global pandemic with like some of the worst, political strife in the US that
Mm-hmm.
our generation has seen, period, with, massive amounts of economic despair floating around. It's like I don't blame anybody for
Mm-hmm.
shutting down, but I also think that like now that we've had, what is it, 8, 9 months to get used to it, I think now we're finally in a position to be like, all right, I can function under this. I've readjusted. Now let me do something.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm glad that you're, actually doing it because a lot of people just, shut down. Like a lot of artists that I know had huge projects in the works, and unfortunately, there's nothing that they can do because they're just stuck here, waiting for society to get back to
Yeah.
normal before client work can resume.
Yeah. Uh, the it's not my place to tell people that like their business, especially because like this is one of the things I'm successful at. Trust me, I have scripts that I've been uh, like staring at with a cursor on a blank page, and it's just been like ugh. the so okay. So we just four artists between Yu-Gi-Oh, Urasawa, um, uh, Gucci,
Bengus
Gucci.
and Oda.
Okay, Oda. How the hell did I miss Oda? But okay, so number five.
So the last one, and this is probably like the one that takes the most amount of like status and money, is Takashi Murakami. Like I absolutely love Murakami. I was a kid and I was like really into the art toy scene, Kid Robot and stuff, and like so that part of art culture existed, and he was like at the forefront of it. Like his work with like I think he did a bunch of stuff with like Friends with You as well back in the day, and he worked a lot with Pharrell and Kanye West and everything like that. Like his stuff is super iconic, and he's one of my favorite illustrators. Like period. And getting some sort of way to be noticed by him and be like, hey, let's do something together. That would be like, I think I could say I made it at that point.
Okay, I wish you the best, and I'm going to offer this as like a little bit of advice. I don't
Go
know
for it.
how great this is going to work for you, but are you familiar with Charlie Rocket at all?
Sounds familiar, actually. Let me Google that real quick because I feel like there was a. Why do I remember that name? Hold on.
Are you a Logan Paul podcast fan?
No, I've never actually listened to it, but okay, Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. I'm aware of this guy.
Okay, so I became aware of him because I was watching that Impulsive, that podcast, and he's on two particular episodes, and the guy talked about going from like a manager to rappers at age 18 or 20, uh, and being a producer to being a CEO, and then finding out he had like cancer in his brain. So he
Jesus
went
Christ.
so he decided he was going to be a Nike athlete. He was going to run an Ironman. He was going to like do all these things. Well, uh, his way of doing it was he told himself it was going to be easy, and he was just going to be delusionally optimistic, which I don't recommend that one because you kind of have to have like a little bit of grounding here and there. But the other thing he spoke about was called quantum, speaking it into the universe, quantum dreaming. He would every day write down in his dream book, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. But he actually did the steps needed. It's not like he just wrote in his diary every day and it suddenly came true one day, but he actually did the work.
Yeah, he didn't Oprah it into existence like what was that book, The Secret or whatever, and like no. So this man actually did the real work that Oprah doesn't do. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, so like he got his ass in shape, and he was 300 pounds when he started like running Ironmans, and like he just kept telling himself it's going to be easy, and he just kept on saying it out into the world and telling people this is, and he had a plan. And the great thing about listening to him talk is that he has that like cult leader ability to like just explain himself in a logical way and be charismatic about it. So if you say it out loud and then you actually follow the path that you set yourself upon, you can get there eventually.
Well, thank you. I'm definitely gonna, commit myself to it. The funny thing about this kind of lofty ideal, though, is, the goal shifts, the target shifts as time goes on, as I get more perspective. There's a few artists, and I can't name specific examples, but like there were a few people that I really wanted to work with when I first started, and I was like, wow, their work is really solid, and this would be like a great thing to collaborate with them on, and it never happened. And then now I look at them again, and I was like, it's like they're still good, but I don't understand, why I particularly like, wanted to work with them, like why I wanted to include this in the project. And it's like I think part of it is I have that mentality where it's like Comic-Con. It's like, oh, here's a cool artist I've never heard of before. Let me buy something from them. And I'll treasure it and love it. But then, like a year later, 2 years later, I was like, I really didn't keep up with this person. I have no idea what they're doing. And, their work maybe wasn't more impactful than just that, first moment's notice. And this is not to say at all that their work isn't good by any stretch. Anybody who has the guts to go to a comic convention, anybody who has the guts to make something and put it out there for other people to consume is infinitely worthy of my respect, because they were brave enough to do it, whether or not they're objectively good or, god awful. They persevered to finish something and put it out there, which, I love. And I will. There's a few people that I know who, they might not be the most technically proficient people, but they're determined to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again until they get it right. And I love that about anybody who does stuff.
Yeah, there's always the guy at the bar who says, "Yeah, I could do that." It's like, tell you what, dude, I will buy you a beer if you can actually show me that you can do it. Period. But there's something to be said for the people that no matter how untalented or unrefined their work is, like if they keep showing up to do it and they just get 1% better at every possibility. If you get 1% better with every opportunity, you're going to be pretty damn good eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have the ability to get better. Like there's I've dealt with a couple artists over the years that they are great at what they do. Unfortunately, they are either unreliable or they are only great at that one thing. So, stick to what, like I tell them to stick what they're good at because they're never going to change.
Yeah, no, it's I mean that's the cool thing about like the artist world is people also have that freedom. You don't need to necessarily change your vision or what you're doing because you can just keep doing it even if it's for yourself. Sure, you might not become a millionaire. Like, I'm unfortunately a strong proponent of selling out because it's like this is capitalism. You know what I mean? You have
Mm-hmm.
to make a living doing it, doing anything you can. You might as
Mm-hmm.
well just get
Especially
rich.
after this year.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you might as well just, bite that bullet, swallow your pride, and do it if you need to survive. But like if you can continue and not have to worry about, basic income or not have to worry enough about it where you have to make these deals with the devil, you can do whatever the hell you want. And even if, you don't get an audience for it, you can become a master at it, which is what I love.
All right, man. We've been doing this for almost an hour.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Yeah.
you want to end it there for now?
Yeah, sure. Unless you got anything else you want to bring up while we're still here.
Okay. Okay. Here's one for it. Not to put you on the spot, but
Hmm.
how many times do you think we've been like we've either talked or met before?
Okay. Met before, I'd say, or met before, zero. I would remember you because I have like I'm good enough at faces, especially the faces of people. If they were wearing my stuff, I would like lose it unless you came up to the table at Anime NYC in 2019, in which case I was so stressed I remembered nothing from that weekend.
Okay, so because I didn't put this on you because here's the thing about conventions that people don't necessarily understand, or even fame in general, because um, like I look at it as the triangle of like at the top of the triangle there's you, then at the bottom of the triangle there's everyone that you meet. Like
Hmm.
it's easier for everyone that you meet to remember you because it was one person, one point. However, for you to remember one at the bottom that you met is way more difficult just because it's harder to remember. Like if you met 100 people, it's harder to remember them all. But uh, video game con, I want to say 2 years ago,
Okay.
I was wearing the I want to say the original.
Oh my
Like
God. Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. That was you. Yeah, because I remember MJ mentioned it, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, that's Matt." And I was like, "Wait a minute. I've seen this name on the labels. I know who this person is." Yeah, you're right. Holy shit.
okay, and there was one more which I didn't know you were you at the time, but I figured it out going over Instagram a couple times. This one's going to be a little bit weirder, but I don't blame you for not
No, go for
remembering
it.
this one because like I didn't remember this one, but uh, the rooftop party. I don't remember what year it was for Boombox.
Oh my God. Um, okay, explain more, please.
Okay, I I was talking to you guys for like 2 minutes because the uh, I don't know. I couldn't deal with the music, so I just went outside to get some air. And I think your group was there, and like I was just listening to the conversation, and then like I like I must have finished my drink really quick and just like chimed in or something. We had like a 2 minute conversation.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's
Okay, but I don't like but
So wait, how did you figure out that was me after that? Because
uh,
that's the kind of thing I would go outside and be like, "Oh yeah, I talked to a stranger. I had a great conversation. I remember every word of the conversation." But
I don't remember the conversation at all, but like I get. But here's the thing, though. Like I just like recognize faces
mhm.
because of the like if you've been to a Sonic Boombox party, there's about I want to say like 5 or 6 faces you're gonna see, not repeatedly, but you're like okay, they were at this event, and this event. You
Oh
have no
yeah,
idea
yeah,
who they are because like, there's one dude I want to say he uh, I think he does Mash Fest for them, but I'm not entirely sure of that.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and the like, like, and then you see then you follow, because you follow the Instagram like thread, like you can go from person to person to person. It's like, okay, like you don't necessarily know the relationships, but you just realize that everyone's following each other.
Yeah.
So when you like Sonic Boombox did a shout out to you guys or whatever, uh, like like on their page, like I started following it, and I was like, where do I know this guy from?
Oh my God,
And
that's
then
funny.
like it had to have been that one. So like
Oh wow, that's
I think we've talked to each other twice before this, like
okay. Wait, hold on.
in real life.
I can one up you in like weird, not actual connection things.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
this might have been 2018. I went to go see Peach Momoko. Like I was just checking up on them because I was helping them with their table. Basically, they were at that auxiliary anime convention that New York Comic Con was doing,
Which
and
one?
crap, I can't remember. It was the same one that was going on at the same time as New York Comic Con at the pier. It was like that really small
Oh,
show.
so like 2 year was the one that they had the pier like 2 years ago.
Yeah. It was like a total, nightmare. And they did have the Cowboy Bebop staff there for some reason, which was great. But
Tell you what, that might have been their best chance at but like for is does New York Comic Con like throw in Anime Fest, like just because like we have to like throw it in there, like are they contractually obligated to do it because they've never figured it out?
honestly, I don't know. If I had to guess, I think they're trying to expand to a larger event, but I think that they don't give it the time and effort it deserves to do well. Um,
Okay, because let me list the ones that I remember. They had it one year at the end of the hallway in the basement.
yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, they did it there a couple of times, so I'm gonna give it like two or three. Then they did it up in the mezzanine on the like the third floor,
Mhm.
on top of everything as high as you could go. 2 years ago, they did 2 or 3 years ago they did Pier 96, I think,
Yeah,
or
that's the
Pier
one I was talking
94.
about. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
which
yeah.
great location for it, but like it was like they did not fill that building with
No,
stuff.
no, not at all. It
Eh,
was it was pretty barren. So Peach Momoko, they were there, and I forget how I got in, but somehow I got in, and I was helping them out for a while, and then they decided instead to table up with people, with friends at New York Comic Con because they were just not doing well. Like, if for anybody
mhm.
who's not familiar with Peach's work, it's like, she sells, in addition to prints and stickers and like a few zines and stuff, she also brings her whole array of original works, which, are hugely expensive. And like, I don't think the
Yes.
average New York Anime Festival kid who was given, like maybe $50 by their parents for the weekend could afford a single, Peach Momoko original at that price point. So what happened was they had went to the thing. I had taken over their table to just, see what we could scoop up there. And then the last day was so dead that we had like no sales, so we just packed it up and then went to Comic Con for the rest of the day. And I go there, and Peach and her manager were just like, "Oh yeah, we saw somebody wearing the shirt," and I was like, "Where?" And they're like, "Oh wait, I think he's like over there." And in the distance, I see you wearing the Peach Momoko shirt.
Okay, I can tell you about this because um, I having bought the shirt from you guys,
Hmm.
uh, like like at a certain point you say to yourself, all right, am I gonna wear this till I kill it, or am I gonna retire this? Because uh, I thought to myself, if I'm gonna retire this, I'm gonna get it autographed.
Ooh.
So uh, if you, I'm not gonna get it for you right now because that would take me wait. I'm not confident in how long it would take me to get it,
Yeah, no,
but
no worries, man.
but the I have it autographed, like sitting, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting to like get it framed because uh, the artwork on that one is really good. And tell you what, like on Peach Momoko, is it Momoko or Momoko?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's about as specific as I can be.
okay, so I've seen her work and one other artist, like uh, like if you're gonna launch a Kickstarter, like the her variant cover in that Kickstarter, like it sells out immediately.
Mhm.
The She's been working with Marvel, I believe, for the past couple of years on variant covers, like to the point where like I was listening to a Kevin Smith podcast, and they were talking to I want to say with like Golden Comics or Golden Apple Comics out in L.A.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like she got name dropped by the store owner uh, just because like her stuff sells out um, when the variants come in. So, uh, like like I said before, you have good taste in artists.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, Peach is one of my all-time favorites. I found her work maybe a few months before the planning for Sukeban started. I'd gotten to a point where I was on Instagram and I just couldn't stand seeing my friends post because I was like, if I just wanted to see shit posting, I'd just go on Facebook. So I was like, let me use all of this to just find new artists. And she was one of them I found, and she was like, wow, this is incredible. I love this. So like I followed them, and I'd unfortunately found out that she was going to be at Comic-Con after I had already booked my ticket to Japan and wasn't going to Comic-Con that year. So I had my girlfriend actually like ended up going there and commissioned her for this beautiful piece. And eventually I saw that they were taking commissions. So in like 2018, I commissioned her for two pieces, and one of them became the shirt. And the other one I still have. I need to release it. The only problem is I need to find a good enough scanner because, like I said, Peach Draw is huge.
Mm,
So I have this thing that's like it's bigger than an 11 by 17 of her artwork, and it's like the entire thing is penciled and inked by hand because that's how she does it. And
mm.
I can't get a good enough quality scan of it to turn it into a shirt yet. So it's like I've had one Peach Momoko piece sitting in my folder for 2 years now that I'm still dying to get out there.
Have you considered like setting it up on a wall while lighting it, and then just using it like a DSLR camera?
I was gonna do that if all else failed, but I'm still determined to go find like the best scanner I can. So I just I want to make sure that like the image fidelity is 1 trillion% because Peach's art deserves nothing but the absolute best that I can give for that.
Yeah, if I could put a word in for one of my favorite artists, because like the year that Peach was, or one of the first year I think Peach was at Comic Con, like I think I got the, I don't know if it was that the year I got the shirt autographed or no, I think I got it the next time.
Mhm.
Ashley Riot or whatever was wearing one of your shirts.
Oh yeah, Ashley's the best, man.
Yeah, well, like I actually had like something commissioned from her for a project I'm working on. So
Oh, nice.
eventually that eventually is gonna see the light, hopefully. Uh, but the yeah, like man, like if you walk into comic convention or whatever, like I legitimately feel sorry for like the kid that walks in with $50 and just spends it in the first thing he sees because uh, it's so easy to do that. It's like, oh, this is the thing I've always wanted. That's the thing I've always wanted. Oh shit, here's the thing that I never knew I wanted, but I really want that right now.
Hmm.
So
And that's the the real prize at Comic Con. It's like when you find that new artist to be fixated on, and like it's something, a person whose work like stays with you for years afterwards. And that I always love the little hidden gems because it's like it's really cool. Like, oh, I got my copy of Immortal Hulk signed, and I'm really happy because this is such a great comic. But then it's like, but really, oh, I just found this smaller artist who isn't necessarily being published, but I got this fantastic illustration. It's on my wall forever now, and I can always look at that piece and remember that thing and remember that moment and like love it.
all right, you might be able to help me with this one then.
Sure, sure.
Okay. couple years ago, when Artist Alley was down below, but it wasn't. I don't think it was like it was spread across like multiple rooms. It wasn't like in the single room that it was. So this is definitely a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The Kim Young Gi booth
Mm-hmm.
had him, which by the way, that man just traces what's in his head on paper. I seriously believe that because I've seen people get the personalizations that he set on his books, and they never repeat. Not even like the only thing they have in common is like, okay, that one's female, but other than that, like it's not a similar pose. It's not even similar objects. It's
No,
like
he just does whatever the hell he's feeling like, and it comes out perfect 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he had another Korean artist with him that, God damn it, I can't. I want to say his name was like Han Solo or something like that.
Han Solo. Yeah, dude, he's the man.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Like I was trying to figure out his name for a long time, but I was never sure because I could never find his book or whatever. Like online, like searching for it was a pain in the neck. Like I could never I could find the book, but I couldn't find like a picture of him to confirm it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure.
No. So Hans is, I believe he is one of like the trainees that Super Ani has. I'm not totally sure how their structure works, but my understanding is like, Jungi and his brother, they pretty much run the show, and then they have like a few people that they mentor, and I think it's like kind of on a rotation, like outside of people that they represent regularly, like Nicholas Namiri and stuff. They have like junior artists like Hans Olo and Dong Ho Kim, and I even believe Jisoo, Miss Jisoo was one of the people that studied under Jungi first, and then like grew to prominence, you know with finding her own style and stuff. But I believe Super Ani still represents her, and I think that's what their pipeline is. I'm not totally sure. There's they're people I've wanted to work with before, but like their pipeline is very like shrouded in mystery. It's not easy to get in touch with them, and at least for me, it hasn't been. They could just be really chill, and I could just be going about it the wrong way. But it's like I tried licensing their works before, and it never happened.
Wow, that's awesome too. Okay, so where can people find your stuff?
Oh man. Yeah, so our stuff is available on the website, which is sukeban.nyc. It's on our Instagram also, sukeban.nyc, and I think our Twitter is just sukebannyc because Twitter doesn't let you have a period in its in your handle. Um, and yeah, we're always there. I'm always active on Instagram. Unfortunately, I have a ruthless social media addiction, so I'm always there, which is why I'm able to talk to fans all the time.
And it's not toxic hustle if it's productive. So, all right, man. I want to say thank you for joining me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime you want to come on and promote something, just let me know.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, dude. And anytime you want to, talk about something more specialized too, if it's, comics, artists, whatever, just hit me up, dude. I'll be here.
Oh, by the way, I'm still working on that Chinese decoration, that like the faded graphics book or whatever. But I'm gonna have to include more stuff because I'm realizing there's only about 5 of them that but like the little details of like the light bulbs burning out behind them is just interesting. All right, man. Peace.
All right. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.